Here we go. And it's another Monday. And I have got a lovely guest waiting in the wings to have a chat with today. Welcome to Live and LinkedIn. My name is Ashley and I'm your host for the next 30 minutes. If you've got any questions that you want to put to my guest, then please come on in. If you're listening on a podcast, give us a like, say hello, let us know what you're doing. But this week, it's all about creating your own podcast. So let's get somebody in that knows a little bit about podcasts. Hello, Deborah.
Hello, Ashley. Good to see you.
And you. How the devil are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much. I'm sitting in my very posh sitting room.
It is. Now, can you play that piano?
Oh no, I've got off. Where have I gone?
I don't know where you've gone, but we can still hear you. Good afternoon, Michal. How are you doing today? So whilst if you've gone over to the piano or something, have you?
Oh, I've no idea. It just cut off. What do I do? Oh no, technical difficulty.
So if you go
podcasting, you can't see me.
No, we can. If you go into the settings below, then you should be able to go in and check something and make sure that works.
Okay, well, we'll see. I might come back a bit ghostly, but there we go, because I might have to go to integrated camera. Oh my word, I tell you what, this is
and this is the fun thing when you do something live.
It's all right, I can talk for England now. I never used to be able to, but
and is this because you now do a podcast?
That's right, yeah. Before, hey everybody, I'm Deborah. Yes, you can't see me, but I am definitely here. I wore the cloak of invisibility for many years of my life. I've been an abuse and trauma survivor from childhood, and my mum and dad weren't exactly the best parents in the world. So what I did was I tried to keep myself safe by not speaking. And just to cut a long story short, as I fiddle around with this camera, is...
There we go. And this is... I love doing a live show. I'm going to give a shout out to Michal, who's there. So hi, Michal. How are you doing? Thank you for coming along. Lovely to see you at Accountex a couple of weeks ago. I can't believe it was a couple of weeks ago. And the thing is, with podcasting, is a chance for you to talk to your audience, get known, and start sharing some of the amazing knowledge that you have. And we all have loads of knowledge that you'd be surprised how many people would be interested to hear and have a chat with you. Now, what I'm going to do is hopefully Deborah can hear me, and I'm going to kick her out of the show and then she can join again, and then hopefully that will work. So we'll see what happens there. But if you're going to do a podcast, there's two ways of doing a podcast. One is a live stream like this. And the beauty of doing a live stream means that every single week you're going to be here. So every single week I am creating some content, except when I go on holiday. But it means that it gets done. Now, if you book up people to come in and record a podcast at a set time and different times, and you know, you perhaps do 2 this week and 3 next week, and then you have a bit of time off, then you can build up a library. But because you haven't got that set commitment to show up, like I do every Monday at 12:30, then it makes it a lot harder to keep that podcast going. But if you have a live and you get problems like Deborah seems to be having this morning, then it all starts getting a little bit difficult. And this is the beauty when you've been doing a few, because then you can ad lib and share other things. But it looks as if she's back now, so I'll add her to the stage. Don't press anything, Deborah. Don't press anything. Don't worry about your lovely piano.
It's gone. The piano's gone.
It doesn't matter. We don't need the piano. We want you, Deborah.
Well, I'm in again without the background. I think that was messing a few things up. So fingers crossed we're back all right again.
Absolutely. While you were gone, I was just saying there's 2 ways of doing a podcast. One is to do it live and one is to do it recorded. And we've just seen why people don't want to do live. I like the live, Deborah, because it keeps you on your toes. What are your thoughts?
Well, I always say start with the recorded version first. And one of the things is, if you're having guests on, which I teach as well, every now and again somebody might say something and they go, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And if it's live, you've got a bit of a problem. So what I do is I always say, if you record, You can edit those bits out if it all goes a bit pear-shaped, if it all goes a bit Pete Tong, as they say, and you can go in and it's okay. So again, you always got to start where you feel the most comfortable, where you feel that you own your stage, and you know that things like that won't set you off into a frenzy. And then you think, oh my gosh, how am I going to get back on again? So, it's great as you very much are the person. Look at the guitars in the background. You know how to perform. That certainly wasn't me. As I was saying at the beginning, it was podcasting that set me on my journey, and my way of which now I commune with my clients and my wider audience, and also how I get a community together.
No, absolutely, and it so many people are listening to podcasts nowadays, and I don't know what the listenership on radio is anymore, but it's plummeted. And because the thing is, I can take a podcast with me wherever I go. I can stop it, I can pause it, I can rewind it, I can come back and listen to it again. I'm not stuck listening to the same DJ playing the same record. I can choose what I want to do. So I can have a podcast for fun, I can have a podcast for entertainment. There's loads of different things that we can do, or education. Hey, Deborah.
Well, the thing is with podcasts, you see, with AI, and let's face it, it's here to stay, and I quite like AI. I haven't got much of a problem with it, to be fair. I mean, the greater, grander scheme of things, hey ho, but there we are, it's here now. So the one thing is, though, that people are craving real human authenticity. Things like this live event, even from the recorded perspective, if you've got some what we call long form content, which isn't scripted, because this, as you can tell, it was a real life event and it just happened and off we went with it. So from that perspective, when you've got something where you're promoting yourself as a live human being, one of the key things is that we get to know people with the know, the like, and the trust. I think I've got a bit of a lag there, so you can tell this isn't AI either. This is really me. And when you've got that human element, people really, truly appreciate it. They know that they can trust you. You can build that credibility. And a podcast is a great way to get yourself out there to lots of people. Rather than doing lots of one-to-ones, you can actually do number of one-to-manys, which is absolutely fantastic when you're building your business.
Yeah, absolutely. You said right at the beginning that you had a bit of trauma at an earlier life. That must maybe something for another episode. But what it meant was you grew up being seen and not heard. So you were, did that make you really shy, really anxious, all those sorts of things?
Oh, absolutely. I was, please, there's a lag. I've just realized I've gone down to I should be back up again now, but there we are. Yeah, I was not socialized as a child. And apparently if you're not socialized by the age of 3 or 4, you're pretty much stuck in that environment, not being able to be socialized. It just happened. So I wasn't socialized as a kid. I was kept away from kids. And what that meant is that I think I'm an introvert by nature, but it just exacerbated the fact that still to this day, I'm not the person that goes to parties and large events and starts to make friends from them. It's a bit alien to me. But I've worked on it. It's like anything. It's our choice. And if we want to do it, we work on it, even if it doesn't come naturally. So the great thing is with the podcasting side of things is that from a personal development perspective, it's great because it puts you in front of the fact where you're the leader, you are out there, you are saying and speaking from your heart. That's what I teach, how from your zone of genius, because some people go, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do it. But it shows up in so many great places. So I've just spoken at the East Lancashire University at a speaking gig that if wild horses would not have dragged me to that previously. And here am I going, how can I actually actively get speaker engagements? So that has turned itself around completely. I've got people like yourself asking me onto shows, which again is great because I can talk to people and add value to an audience that I couldn't have added value before because I didn't know them. So that is amazing how this whole area of personal development can get you from being, I was less than zero. And I'm not a hero, I'm not arrogant, but I'm getting there. And that's it. That's life's a journey. You just got to put one step in front of the other. As long as you do it consistently and you know there's going to be hardship along the way. There's going to be things that don't work out. A few episodes you're not going to be at your best. But you keep going, because if you've got a strong purpose, and mine is, and I know it says, I want to help people, but I do genuinely want to help people to grow in their confidence, to grow in the way in which they can have a community that they can add value to, that they can be seen above the competition. And here's the thing, if you've got video, we're visual creatures. Podcasts can be done audio. I teach that, but I also teach the video side of things. If you can be on there, on screen, on camera, with the captions, people can be at work, they can be flicking through in the lunchtime. As you say, you can have it in your headset. You can have a thing when you're doing the cooking, you've got a podcast on. People want people who are relatable. So please do not think, what I've got to say has been said by thousands. It wasn't you that was saying it, and you make the difference. Your experience makes the difference, and it would be different for me saying it. And you might just get one person go, oh, I get it now. And you might never know, but you might have been the person instrumental in helping them to get something that they couldn't do. And you can do this in all walks of life. As you said, you can have an entertainment podcast. You can do it for your own fun. You can talk about football results, anything, but you can do it for business. And when you do that well, I teach people how to use it as a sales and marketing funnel. And that is a game changer, because it unlocks doors, you see, Ashley. It unlocks doors that you wouldn't perhaps be able to get those people to listen to you and engage with you. But you've got an excellent vehicle because you can invite them onto your podcast. And a lot of people like the sound of that.
No, it is brilliant, and it's fun. And like you say, there's an awful lot of fringe benefits that you don't even realize that you get from doing it. Like you say, you've built your confidence up because you're doing it. I've learned so many new skills of, with editing and video and all the other bits of software that I'm using to do all of this. When I work with my clients on a one-to-one basis, helping them with their LinkedIn, they might turn around and go, oh, how do you do this? Well, I know because I've done this, this, and this. And it's just incredible. And it's fun. It is fun.
Oh, it is. And if you're not careful, it gets addictive. So watch out. Once you're on there, just make sure you're quite good with your time, because I want to do another one. I want to do another one. And let me tell the audience here that I've trained a gentleman who is registered blind. He's in very poor health. He's an octogenarian. That means he's over 80 years of age. And he wanted to raise money to fundraise for his charity. And we talked and we thought, what a great idea that you could be a podcast host for your charity, and people could sponsor the episodes, and they could, you can go out there and spread the word through your podcast and get those volunteers on and showcase them, showcase the charities, etc. And guess what? He's now been invited, wait for it, in a few short weeks, 30 podcasts. He's been invited on 30 podcasts to be a guest. And you know what? He's blind. He's hard of hearing. He's had very many struggles with his health. I won't go into the details, but the fact that he's here is a wonderful miracle. And ultimately, this man is rocking his stage, and people love a story. They love a great story. And we've all got that great story inside us. We're not just ordinary, we're extraordinary.
Okay, I'm listening to this and I'm thinking maybe I could have a go at being a podcast host. But I'm watching us and we look very professional, and you've got all the kits and you've got a nice looking studio, and it looks like you've got one of these amazing mics. And then I was at Accountex a couple of weeks ago, and Johan and Aaron were hosting the podcast studio, and I was chatting to them and I said, wow, look at all this kit. They had £40,000 worth of kit, on their stand doing podcasting. All right, recording kit, cameras, audio kit, microphones, all the toys that you could get. And so I'm thinking, I haven't got 40 grand. I'm not going to do a podcast. Where can I start, and how easy is it, Deborah?
Well, the great news is, and please excuse the lag here for the time, but I'm speaking before and it's coming back as a delay. So you can tell you do not need anything. You can do it off the free version of Zoom. So you don't even have to pay for that. And you know what? To start with, you don't need anything Yeah, absolutely. You can do it off your iPhone. You can do it off your Android. You can do it off your free version of Zoom, off your laptop. You can do it wherever you wish, whenever you wish. And so cost isn't an issue. Cost isn't an issue. You can get started this afternoon. You can get started in the next 5 minutes. Now,
No, not the next 5 minutes. Watch the end. But you're right. You're right. There's nothing to stop you this afternoon. Go and have some lunch, get a Zoom, and start talking to Zoom. It's that simple, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there will be people that do, and like everything, there'll be people that don't. And that's cool. However, what does cost you just a tiny bit of money is you're loading it up onto YouTube, no cost. But there are some labor-saving devices that you can pay for on a monthly basis. They're not going to break the bank. They're very well worth it because they save a lot of time, and they can also get you out to more platforms as well. But I'd say get started. The gentleman who was doing this podcast, he was on disability benefit. So for somebody like him, this is fantastic because he said, how do I fundraise and not necessarily leave my house?
But you can.
You can. You can do your business. You can do it from the kitchen table. You can do it from the spare room. You can do it from your garden shed. You can do it anywhere. Having a good signal is preferable because then it means that you've got, we had a bit of a delay because my signal's gone up and down. But this is what I teach people. I still do this off of Zoom. I now pay for it, but I did it to start with off the free version. Yeah. And as long as you keep it within 35 minutes, because otherwise you get cut off, and that's a good discipline anyway, you can do it off that. It's same quality as the paid for version.
Yeah. And is there an ideal length for a podcast?
Well, that all depends because we're all busy. So I would say, think about this. How long do you want to actually do your podcast for and keep the energy and, like us, the pace and the interest and what have you up? So I always say start 30 to 35 minutes because that means that you're not thinking, oh, what am I going to say? Oh, my goodness me. Or the guest isn't coming on thinking, oh, my goodness. Now, some of the big guys like Joe Rogan, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, my gosh, they're doing for over a couple of hours, sometimes even longer. And that's fine because they're getting sponsors and they're getting people, etc. And they've got a big following. But just think, people listen to podcasts in the nooks and crannies of the day. So they could be driving back home. They could be walking the dog. They could be cooking their evening meal. They could be getting the kids ready for school. Half hour, 35 minutes, perfect. Because you know what? It's not going on and on and on. You know that you can wrap that up. And I teach you the structure so that you know that at the end of it, without self-promoting in a sense which is a bit cheesy, you get your point of view across, people know who you are, and you've wrapped that up in about 30, 35 minutes. The other thing is, if you have what we call discovery calls with people in business, so that means that you might have met them on LinkedIn, which is your forte, and then you go and have their discovery call, you'd usually say, oh, let's book up a 30, 35-minute discovery call. Well, what you're doing there is great. But if you had your podcast as the discovery call almost, and I teach you how to do that, the level of trust, it's that important trust factor that you've managed to develop over that period of time is far more than what you could do because people think they're going to sell to me. And you kind of expect it from them and they kind of expect it from you. And often it's quite superficial. With a podcast, you're the host. You can ask all of those questions that get your people opening up. And then all of a sudden, that discovery call has turned into something much, much deeper. And the podcasting industry is growing massively. On average, $23 billion a year it's growing by, at least for the next 4.5 years. It's set to actually grow from, I think it was 23 billion back in 2023 to 131 billion by 2030, if not more. And YouTube has now taken over LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram for being the most watched and listened to platform of them all. And that's only going to continue because people love video. They love watching video, and they're turning away from mainstream media. They're turning away from the usual sources of, let's say, as you're saying, radio. They want something that they want to listen to, that they can flick through, that's going to give them the stuff that they believe in, that they feel is authentic, not just the big guys for the big sponsors, etc. This is normal people like you and me, as extraordinary as we are. We're all normal. And so it's us putting our message out there. And that's what's turning people to YouTube. It's great. It's a really fantastic platform.
Yeah, no, perfect. So what do I talk about though? And I'm running this business that I don't know, I make widgets or whatever. What could I talk about every and how often do I need to do a podcast? Is it every week, Deborah?
Well, there's the thing. So on the frequency side of things, just choose how many times a week do you want to do it. Now, I know you're doing yours on Monday, and that's great because people know when to tune in. You're going to be doing it at 12:30 every Monday afternoon, and that's perfect because that fits in with the lunchtime, doesn't it? Brilliant. Yeah. You might say, well, I can't manage once a week, but I'd say if you can manage one discovery call a week, and most people don't do more than that, then you can manage a podcast. You can manage your own podcast for that, because all you're doing is absolutely giving a showcase, transformational discovery call once a week. So why wouldn't you want to do that? So some people go, well, I can do more than once a week. I could twice a week or 3 times. All I would say is just think consistency. Don't do it all at once and then not at all. If you do it regularly, that's going to be better than lots all at once and then nothing. The other thing is YouTube do not like you putting up more than 3 podcasts onto your platform a week. And the reason is because they don't want to be bombarded by quantity. They want quality. So just be aware that you work with what, just like you would with LinkedIn, you work with what the platform likes for you to produce. And therefore, any more than that, and you're starting to kind of go against what the algorithm is like. Now, what am I going to talk about? Well, I say this. You got into your job for a reason. You were quite passionate about what you did, or you felt that you were really good at it. Now, if you can eloquently speak about something, let's say for a day, once you got into your subject, you can just go on and on and on and on and on talking about it, all the different things that you can talk about. If you can speak for something for about a day, which I know everybody can, that's in a job that they think, I like this, I wanted to get into this. You could start a podcast and you could be at work. That's no problem. Or if you've got your own business, why did you start that business? What is it about what you do that you really love that you could talk about? So what I teach is how you speak from your zone of genius and from your passion, from your heart, so that you never, ever have to prepare because it's actually already in your head. And all you need to do is access that and actually come up with the different episodes. So when you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to read off a script because I don't know what I'm going to say. If you can go deep inside you and talk as if you'd be speaking to a potential client, you don't need notes for that. Just speak from your heart and let it flow. And that's when you're going to get the very best content, because people can spot authenticity a mile off. And I'm sure you teach that with the posts and things that people are going to do, is be your authentic person. You're not after everybody. You're after the people that get you and you get them. You're after your tribe. You're after your community. And that will start to grow. But you do not have to use a podcast to get lots of listeners or followers or subscribers. It's doing it in a different way. I teach you how you use it as a sales vehicle, how you use it as a marketing funnel, how you use it so that you should only ever have 3 types of guests on your show. 1, that you can do business with directly. 2, that has a network that could open up for you that you can then access. And 3, that they have a specialism or expertise that you can showcase on your podcast that would give value to them and value to your audience. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using clips, you're going to be using all of the content that you get on your podcast, and you're going to be putting it on things like LinkedIn. You're going to be putting it on things like Facebook, if that's where your listeners and your audience and your customers sit. You're going to be putting it on TikTok or wherever you like to do it. Well, the list goes on. And so you've got your podcast information, and you're just going to then go out and put that onto all of your different social media functions so people see you. And then you'll get the confidence, if you haven't already, and I tell you it grows, is to think, oh, actually, I'd like to get a community around me. So what I'm doing now, and I know you do this too very effectively, Ashley, is I'm building a community around me that actually comes to an event once or once every other week, that sits in that thing. We do the deals together. They're thinking about the networking. We provide them with education. And that ultimately they're thinking, Deborah made that happen, or Ashley made that happen, or whoever's listening. Think what people will be thinking about you making that happen. And all the time you're there as the host in a wonderful, non-arrogant way, you are somebody that somebody's looking at, and they're looking at you for leadership. They're looking at you to help them with problems and solve issues and challenges. And that is where your podcast comes into its own, because you can then develop that community, you can develop your guests, and that's when you really, really fly.
Brilliant. I love that. And so I'm listening now. I'm feeling brave. I can use my phone. That's brilliant. I know how to use Zoom, so that's good. I'm confident I'm going to do 30 minutes. I can do it once a week. Should I do it on my own, or should I get a guest in? What's the best way, Deborah?
Oh, absolutely. So I always say the way in which we use ours as a sales and marketing funnel is to invite those three types of people onto your show as guests. One, the person that you think might want to do business with you direct. Second, the one that's got the network. And third, the one that's going to add value and credibility as they're the experts and specialists. Now, you can have panel discussions on your podcast. You might want to have more than one person on your podcast. And I know you went to an event recently, Ashley, where there was a podcasting suite. But you know what? You could go to a stand and you could say to your people or the audience that are coming, you know, the attendees, and somebody's say, well, I tell you what, why don't you showcase your business now on our podcast? You can do it live, or you can do it and we record it. You know, there's so many ways in which you can use it, and you can use them as fundraisers as well. So the idea is that we have people come together so that you can, as a business owner, add your particular value to that particular guest and build a greater relationship with them quicker and more effectively than you would be by going out and doing lots of one-to-ones or discovery sessions, etc. They have their place, but let's face it, if you've got a client that you think, I'd love to get into them, but what can I offer them? Why would they want to talk to me? Well, if you invite them, invite is the word properly, which I teach, of how that they could come onto your podcast as a special guest to showcase their business on your podcast. Very few people say no to that.
Yeah.
And once they're on there, you've got that door open and you've given value before you've asked for it. And that's really important. People want to receive value so that they can suss you out. Are you the person that they think you are? Are there any hidden things that they don't know about you? To build that all-important trust, if you go out and you give first, then they think, well, whatever happens, I've got the podcast, I've got that link, I've got that recording that I can send out. So you've always added that, and you've then got the reason to go back, because guess what? You'll be wanting to talk to them about the podcast that they've done. You'll want to talk to them about them giving you the confirmation to put the podcast out to people, where you can then educate them on what to do if they might not know. You can help them to become a great guest on other people's podcasts, because I teach you how to be a great guest as well. So there's so much value that you can do. So don't worry about the fact that you haven't got many listeners, that you haven't got many followers or subscribers. It's not about that. It's about building those relationships with the people that you really want to do business with, and that you can add value to their experience.
Brilliant. Absolutely superb. And perfect timing as well. How can we work with you, Deborah?
Well, I would love people to get hold of me. My email address is db, that's for Deborah Blackman, to db at Vessentially, that's VIESSENTIALLY, ENTIALLY.com, db@vcentrally.com. And also you can get me on LinkedIn. It's Deborah Blackman. You'll see nice lots of jazzy yellow again, where I talk about what I do for podcasting on the banner. And I'm wonderful that somebody called me the other day. They said, you're the Oprah of podcasting. So yeah, that's great. And what can I give people my offer? Because I'd love to
Yes,
let people
please
know
do.
that I've got an offer.
Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to give those people that want to really elevate their business, to scale it, to get above social media and create a brand which people come to do business and increase your sales. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, isn't it? We want sales through the door. I am giving as a free gift to you 30-minute discussion with me. And believe me, I won't try and sell you anything. I want to try and help you to understand the benefits, but also to give you some coaching or training in the art of how you would use a digital platform, podcasting, in a way to be able to elevate your business and get more sales.
Awesome. Awesome. Can't say fairer than that. Deborah, you've been an absolute superstar. Before I say goodbye, I'm just going to give Jill Brabner a shout out for next week. She does some amazing stuff. We're calling her the Workplace Stage Director. I can't wait to have a chat with her next week. So that's Monday, the 9th of June. So without any further ado, Deborah, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to Michal for coming on and saying hello.
Oh, Michal, lovely to speak to you. I hope that's been useful. And to everybody listening, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'd love to try and help people. And Ashley, thank you so much. It's been a great experience.
No worries at all. You take care. Cheer, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye now. So there we go. Another episode in the bag. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, because this will help more people get to hear about this little show. If you want to be a guest, or you know anybody that would become a great guest, then please let me know. And if you've got any LinkedIn questions whatsoever, just reach out. My name is Ashley Leeds. I'm the 15-minute guy, and I want you to have success on LinkedIn.